welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to some more Warhammer as the Dwarves. Today, the plan is rather simple. We're going to let this Goblin army do, well, pretty much whatever the hell it wants. We're going to reclaim the Lost Plateau, and there is quite literally nothing they can do about it. I'm tempted to auto-resolve, but I will fight this manually, because I'm pretty sure we're going to take less casualties. Or fewer casualties, if you will. Okay, here we go. And today... Well, today I thought we would, or rather we could talk about something not exclusively Warhammer related. I've talked about the new update, I've talked about how the Dwarves have changed. I haven't talked about the new content for the Lizardmen. Honestly, I don't find it that exciting. I think the Lizardmen have a very diverse roster of all sorts of magics and units already. Just more content for them is obviously good. I feel like there are other races that could have benefited from maybe a little bit more in the way of units. You know, like a couple of new units for a few random races would be nice as an update of sorts, free if possible. Yeah, nothing too grand. Just a couple of units here and there, I think would be nice. I guess we did sort of get that with ogre mercenaries, so you know, I guess that depends. Here's what I want to try and do. It's interesting, like hidden and sniper and stalking and whatever. It's an interesting unit. Can I actually tell you what? I don't want to mouse over that. Okay. What does snipe actually do? Oh, this unit remains hidden while firing. Right. So it's literally just like an invisible catapult. That's kind of terrifying, but not that useful. Anyways, let's begin the battle. I've talked about that extensively. Now I kind of want to talk about something else that's not entirely Warhammer related. And that is guns. Oh yeah. Yeah, we're talking about guns. This is happening. Let's see how homing works with the new rocks and everything. All right, I guess. Yeah, not ideal. I think I'd rather have. I'd rather have you shoot at the Araboys, and I'd rather deal with the spider with the Quarrelers, and then just melt the infantry with this. Anyways, as they're you know, getting pulverized as they're approaching us, I'm in the market for a weapon, a firearm, a pistol specifically. Now you might sort of think that this is out of the blue, but it's really not. I mean, I've been sort of into the whole. Well, I've been into military stuff pretty much since I was like 4 years old. Matter of fact, one of my first memories is entering a tank. Yes, an actual tank. It was, I believe, an M80? No, it was a T-55, sorry. No, it was actually a T-55. So, yeah, it was in the service of the, at the time, Yugoslavian army, and one of the first things I did was enter a tank as a child. What can I say? I had cool parents. I really wanted to go, and yes, they thought, you know what, we'll let 4 or... It wasn't even 4 at the time, I think it was more like 3. Whatever, we'll let a child enter a tank, what could possibly go wrong? You know, matter of fact, nothing did go wrong, but it's just kind of funny to me. Anyways, my point is, I'm now in the market for a gun, and my country's laws are not exactly the most awesome when it comes to let's try this thing, see how it works. When it comes to firearms, the laws are pretty darn restrictive. You need like a valid reason for wanting to own a firearm, which is a nightmare to prove that you have a valid reason. Like, what is a valid reason? There is no actual like written law to tell you. It's sort of up to the discretion of the police officers and the people you're asking. It's kind of a mess. But anyways, I was looking at firearms, and even the choice is kind of limited. I mean, it's all right, but the choice is kind of limited. Plus, if you want to import guns, it's pretty much impossible. I mean, the amount of paperwork you need to do is just absurd. So you're pretty much stuck with buying locally, whatever the the local sellers have, which thankfully is a good variety of different firearms. You have well, obviously we have our own that are made locally in the country from local producers and the state-run factory. And then there are also there's also stuff from abroad that people ship in via huge company deals and so on. So we have like Glocks, we have Beretta weapons, we have CZ or the Czech Zbrojevka. I mean that's what CZ stands for. It's just. It'd be kind of absurd to translate that, I suppose. But anyways, we've won this battle. Not too happy with the dwarf warrior casualties on this unit. Everything else is fine. Anyways, I'll continue the story in a second. And there we go. Not great, not terrible, I suppose. Just occupy it, and we can delete this. Good. Now I am going to grab growth here again. And we're probably going to have to defend this next turn from the Goblin army, but it's actually going to be an easier battle. There's no orcs in it, so I expect pretty much everything to just melt. But, I suppose we will see. Quarterless Thunderers and Rangers, more ammunition. Bolt throwers, gyrocopters, and gyro bombers. Plus range for bolt throwers, gyrocopters, gyro bombers. Okay, what does this do? Iron Drake's flame cannons. Okay, what about this? Grudge thrower, cannon, and organ gun. Yes, this is what we need. We need Thunderer. I kind of need this too. Then probably one in Warmaster and then continue down that road, but there's plenty of points to be had. So anyways, the reason I'm mentioning all this is literally before I started recording, about like 30 minutes ago, I was thinking about what I can talk about, because I've pretty much exhausted the update discussion. I don't want to really linger on it too much. The rest of the content for the dwarves and for the free DLC that we've received, you're going to see pretty much as is. Ogres are a bit expensive, though, by the way. Oh, and also I have to correct myself for something I mentioned. Even though I put it as a caption in the previous video, maybe someone hasn't seen it. There isn't a hard limit on how many armies you can have as the Beastman. There isn't a hard limit. You can spend some of the upgrade points called Dread that you earn. You basically earn those just by fighting and raising settlements. And you can spend that to increase the number of armies you can have more or less perpetually. So there you go. That is a lot of dwarves, yes, but that is a lot of goblins. Anyways, one more battle. Let's go. And also, the Beastmen can recruit the ogres. I'm not sure if I mentioned that or not. I think I said I wasn't sure. Anyways, I am now. They can recruit ogres. It's just not worth it. Because you have to pay upkeep for the ogres, right? Even as the Beastmen, you have to pay upkeep for them, and the Beastmen do not have a source of income. I mean, they do, and that's, they raise settlements. That's their source of income, but ogre units aren't really that great. I mean, they're not bad for regular factions, but, they're a bit too much of a burden for the economy. For regular factions, and for a faction that has no income, yeah, extra burden, if you will. So, don't entirely recommend them, but you can get them. Anyways, put our troops up here and talk about what else I was going to talk about for the rest of the video. Anyways, I was just about to talk about this. Let me restart my entire thought process, because I think I repeated the same word like 7 times there. My apologies, it is rather late in the evening. Actually, it's early in the morning, but you get the idea. I was thinking to myself, I should probably mention this. It's like, it's kind of difficult to find guns. They're not that readily available as in some other countries like Switzerland, or obviously the US or stuff like that. I mean, it's all right, but you know, law's kind of restrictive. You know, there's not as great of a choice of weapons and stuff. And as I say that, the local shop in my small town today updated their website, and they've got like a bunch of guns, which in reality is like 7 or 8, which for some people is not a bunch, but you know, for my country, it's actually quite a lot. You know, overnight, basically, they've just brought in like 7 or 8 guns in the shop, and there is now quite a bit of choice, and they're all phenomenal weapons. Apart from the locally produced stuff, which is it's a bit hit and miss. You know, it depends on what you're looking at. The stuff they import is really like top-notch stuff. They have and they had in the past, pretty much always, I think, Glock 17s and Glock 19s. Which was obviously really cool. They're phenomenal weapons. Gen 5, exclusively Gen 5. I know there's some Gen 3s and Gen 4s are on the market in America. We have exclusively Gen 5s here, i.e. the best ones. No, I'm kidding. Look, I'm a fan of the Gen 3s as much as anyone else is. But with Gen 4, they sort of dropped the ball a little bit, and then, you know, came back on, went back to their old selves with Gen 5s, and that's the ones that are being sold here. Truly awesome stuff, and I reckon by the end of the year, I'm probably gonna, you know, get myself enough money to buy a gun, depending on what's available at the time when I get the license. I'll either go for like a Glock or like a Beretta APX, or there's a lot of choice, right? Like I mentioned, the Czech guns are freaking phenomenal, and I cannot state this enough. Like the Czech know how to make weapons. I mean, so does Beretta. It's, I think, literally the oldest weapon manufacturer in the world, having existed for what, 500 years or something. No, that's not even an exaggeration. I think that's closer to literal than not. Truly an awe-inspiring amount of time, and yeah, they know their stuff, suffice it to say. That said, though, what are we gonna hit? Can we, you know, just fire it well.
Thorek Ironbrow.
I like that these guys are taking a bit of a pounding. That's not a terrible thing. No. Stay put. Don't go chasing after unimportant people. Let's have you shoot at them, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be it for the battle. I reckon that's all she wrote for pretty much the entirety of the greenskin faction that we're fighting here, and not just their current army. Let's push this Goblin Archer out of the fight. Very important that we do that. Anywho, that was kind of amusing and, in my modest opinion, worth mentioning. They've just imported a bunch of guns. All I'm saying is, streamer loot, the concept of streamer loot, or in this case YouTuber loot, applies to real life. I wield unprecedented power. You know, it's just, I mention something, and within the, like, literally within 30 minutes, it's there, the problem is solved. You know, look upon my works, ye mighty, and I forgot the quote. Look upon my works, ye mighty, and despair. Yes, that was the quote. Anyways. The Anvil's might, indeed. They are brave. Foolish. Foolish but brave. The Groby. Oh yes, that's also what I mucked up in the previous episode. I mispronounced how how the greenskins, how the dwarves call the greenskins. I think I said Grungi or something. The Pillars of Grungi is a settlement, but no, it's that's not in reference to the greenskins. It was my mistake. Anyways, that's enough of the battle. So back to the story, I suppose. Do I want more gold, or do I want this? I think I want this, because local growth is very important in this province. Public order is so-and-so, but local growth is very important. Okay, and yeah, we'll get a chance to finish them off next turn. What's sort of tragic about the whole situation is the price. So, I think I found... a Glock is like around $800 here, which is quite a lot. You know, well, it's quite a lot compared to like Western Europe and stuff. But some of the other pistols are even worse, like a Anvil of Doom. That's kind of interesting. I think I'll go with this, more weapon strength and ammo and stuff. A Beretta APX, which I really like. So it's a wonderful pistol. I think I've found like a brand new one in the US for like $400 or under $400. It's $1,000 here. That's more than double. Ouch. Yeah. Ergo, it's gonna take some time to gather the money for a purchase like this. Anyways, if you're uninterested in firearms at all and just have not even the slightest inclination for learning anything about them, or this is kind of overpowered now. We're stacking this, right? Events plus 20. Maybe it extends the timer? Well, one can hope, certainly. Indeed, we push onward. Let's just do precisely that. Let's push onward. Considering there's probably not going to be a revolt here, I might as well send this guy up north as well. We might have a revolt over here, and maybe that's something we should take care of, but given the fact that we've just eliminated our last enemy, what we should immediately think about is declaring war on someone. And I will do that when we get into position to declare war. It's probably going to be one of these two. I mean, they're fighting each other already, so it's kind of easy pickings. Until we you know, get into that position, let me continue. If you're completely uninterested in ever owning or even talking about a firearm, you might be interested in something like airsoft, and I think the sort of selection process I've made and the research I've done about firearms over the last few months or so is kind of valuable enough to put out there on YouTube in just a random Let's Play rant of sorts. And the reason being is, like, if you decide you want, for any reason, either like an airsoft gun or a gun for self-defense, or a gun for just to shoot at the range, because yeah, that's fun. It's also an Olympic sport, so it's just, you know, really, I feel like there's you know, it depends on where you grow up and where you live, but there's almost this kind of culture in certain places where you need to give like 15 different excuses for why you're interested in firearms, and people tend to get like a little bit judgmental, and in all due honesty, as long as you're not hurting anyone and you're just interested in it, just an answer of I like it, it's fun, should be perfectly valid, and unfortunately it just simply isn't a lot of the time, and in some cultures and some places in the world, people tend to be a little bit judgmental. The European Union, again, depending on the country. US obviously being quite the sort of polar opposite, and something I very much envy them on. One of the rare things I envy them on. Anyways, that completely aside, let's grab these runes. You know what? Runes are fun. But I think I grabbed the wrong one. I think the Rune of Negation is a little bit better than the other one. Though I really don't like that. That's some difficult math to determine which route is better. But I'm assuming because the other one is higher level that it's going to do better, but it's not necessarily the case always. And how did I go about selecting it? Well, first thing you got to do is ask yourself, why am I getting what I'm getting? And this, it just doesn't apply to firearms. Like I said, it applies to like air guns, airsoft, everything. You can even expand the scope further to like literally any purchase you ever made. Why am I getting it? And for weapons, that's especially important. Because the moment you decide, I'm going to look up pistols and stuff, you're going to find that there is... Well, first of all, there's like dozens of different calibers. Not only that, but there's like different brands, different everything. And on the one hand, it's kind of interesting because it's somewhat similar to other things you may have bought in your life. So that's kind of like, it's like picking a pistol kind of feels familiar in that it's sort of, in some weird way, resembles picking computer parts. It's like, I don't want this graphics card because it's expensive and I don't have a 4K monitor or I don't have a VR set and I just use it for gaming and, this one will do for the price and so on and so forth. It's kind of the same with pretty much everything else, right? There's this ridiculously expensive pistol off the top of my head, and one that's available to purchase in my city, literally like, I don't know, maybe a kilometre or so away from my house, is the CZ75 SB01 Shadow. It's a mouthful of a name, right? I think they have an SB02 somewhere around these parts, but I know for a fact there's an SB01 Shadow near my house, like stupidly near my house. Why would I get that gun? I wouldn't. It's ridiculously expensive. I think it's the most expensive firearm in the shop, and it's made for competitive shooting. Right? Technically it was made for the Czech Special Forces, but pretty much all of its characteristics made it a go-to gun for IPSC, for practical shooting of 9mm pistols as a sport, in competitions. Am I going to compete in, like, the Olympics? I know 9mm pistols aren't in the Olympics, but am I going to compete in the Olympics or anywhere, really, with my pistol? No, I'm not. I'm just going to shoot it for fun, and I'm going to keep it home as a self-defense weapon. So why would I get that weapon? Well, you wouldn't. What are you looking for in whatever you're buying? And like I said, this applies to airsoft as well. It applies to pretty much damn near everything. Are you buying what you're buying to play airsoft, to go around running in the woods or whatever? No, then you probably don't need the best gun on the market, you just need something that will shoot BBs. Likewise here, you probably, if you're just going to use it for fun, for shooting for fun, and as a self-defense weapon, you need it to be reliable, sturdy, easy to operate, relatively accurate. Well, ideally you want it to be very accurate, but like not, competition level accurate, just hit the bloody target at reasonable distances. Let's say up to 40 meters. You're not going to shoot anything at 40 meters in real life, but, in any practical, reasonable scenario, you're not really going to shoot anything at 40 meters with a pistol, but let's say up to 40 meters decent accuracy and reliability. You just, list a set of demands that you have out of a product, and if those demands are met, you buy it. Ergo, what were my demands for a pistol? I need it for self-defense. Well, I don't need it for self-defense. I don't feel like my life is immediately being threatened or anything, but I would like one for self-defense, yes. And I would like one to shoot it around at the practice range. Those are pretty much the only two things you can do with pistols in this country. So, okay. You have 2 settlements. Oof. You have Rosetta and you have Morocco.
For the wisdom of Valea.
Tell you what. Let's wait one more turn.
Ironbrow.
I don't want to craft anything. I checked the forge before I started recording. It's like, these are great, can't craft them. Weapons and talismans and armor and stuff like that I can craft, I need some special special resources to get some of the really good ones. I have plenty of oath gold, but alone oath gold doesn't really do much. Character runes. Actually, I can craft character runes. Never mind, sod that. Just scratch that. I completely forgot the character runes. I was like, banner runes are nice, but I don't want any more. I already have plenty. Yes, Juggernaut, that's correct, but... Okay, let's recycle these. I'll keep the ward save one. Matter of fact, I'll give it to one of the characters, but let's also do the character runes. Some of the more expensive ones. Master Rune of Flight. Effective at close range, moderate damage. You know what? Let's get one. Why not? Let's get one, and then let's get another one of something else. Strider causes fear. Local enemy leadership -3. We can stack that with stuff, and that wouldn't be exactly all that bad. Let's go with extra, like 20% health. Was it 25? I didn't exactly read, but I know it was a big number. It was 20. Yeah, alright. Let's get those. And then... details, character runes. We'll go with this on you. And we'll go with this on you. And then... I'm going to give you the ward save talisman. He already has a talisman. Faction-wide research, obviously. And we're good. Next turn. I can go back to talking about the gun now. So, my demands for, or what I was looking for in a weapon was reliable, good for self-defense, 9mm caliber because the rounds are cheap, actually considerably cheaper, like almost 3 times cheaper than 10mm 40 Smith & Wesson or 45 ACP or anything else really. Plus, you know, it's less recoil, it's easier to use, etc., etc. And it's perfectly fine for self-defense. Like semi-jacketed hollow point or just any kind of hollow point type round is fantastic for self-defense. With 9mm, you don't need anything else. Anyone who tells you, you know, you can't defend yourself with 9mm as well as you can with 45 ACP or something is living in fantasy land. 9mm will stop. Hollow point 9mm will stop everything and anything that has the intention of hurting you in any realistic, reasonable scenario. Demographic plus 10. I don't need that. I'm going to confederate them via an event, so yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. I have no idea what's happening with the Court of Libaras. And I almost don't want to know. Actually, hold on. We can cheat. Corruption, taxes, provincial instability. There's no army in Rosetta. There's obviously no army over here either. You know what? If that's the case... I'm just going to do this and take over this place, and then head straight to Lamia and Libaras. Completely ignoring this. If they do have an army somewhere around here and they decide to just gun for me because anti-player bias, they're welcome to do it. They are legitimately welcome to do it. I care very little about that. I can probably win. I've replenished my armies. I can I recruit like a regiment of renown. I can recruit slayers. I have that, so yeah, you know what? That's perfectly fine. I also want the pistol to be polymer, and I kinda want a striker fire pistol. I wasn't entirely 100% on this. Honestly, to my mind, it doesn't matter that much. Sorry, no, because I'm about to declare war on you. You might not be aware of this. It doesn't really matter too much to me what type of firing mechanism it has. It just... I understand it's a different feeling, but it's a means to an end, ultimately, isn't it? So, like, I don't feel like either of them is particularly... I mean, I understand they're different, but I don't feel like I have a particularly strong aversion to any one of them. It's alright, like, either one's fine. Strike Fire seems kind of cool, and that's, you know, that's sort of the reason why I'm going for that, I guess. Plus, they're a bit more modern, they're a bit more sleek. There's some aesthetic value in it, right? And I completely understand people that are on the opposite end of the camp and like, you know what? No, it's just forget that. You should stick with like the more traditional firing systems and etc. etc. And I understand both, but like you're not going to convince me that, you know, a Beretta or a Glock or a P10 or whatever is a bad pistol because it's a striker fire pistol. It's not. And I'm also never going to convince anyone that, you know, just because a pistol isn't polymer, it's all steel, that it's somehow bad. It's not. It's just a matter of personal preference, a lot of these things. And price, for that point. But anyways, I wanted a polymer pistol because they're kind of cool, and they're a bit easier to maintain, and I wanted a pistol that's going to last. And I was willing to pay for that longevity and for it lasting very long. Both in terms of the amount of rounds it can fire. I think a Glock can reliably fire around 50,000 rounds or more, obviously, but I think bare minimum you can fire around 50,000 rounds without having to do any type of real serious maintenance on it other than cleaning it. Which is great. Some of the locally produced stuff, you know, it might be a third of the Glock's price, but if it breaks after 1,000 rounds, you need to replace the barrel or the trigger or the, I don't know, the slide or something. It's still gonna be like more economically sound of an option for you, because, you know, you replace the slide and it's a couple of dollars extra here and there. That's fine. It's nothing compared to the 3 times you're paying for some of the Berettas or the Glocks, but at the same time, like, do you really want to be replacing parts of your pistol over and over again? Doesn't seem like the most, you know, exquisite of options, shall we say, given the fact that you do want to use it as a self-defense pistol. I mean, you know, you don't want it to break on you, do you? So, you know, counting that, or accounting for that, rather,
if you want something done right,
do it yourself. I was really expecting Thorek to say do it yourself.
ready?
I'm kind of worried about attacking Lamia immediately. They're in Libaras. Okay, military presence 20, they have a full stack.
Arcane wisdom.
That's good. I'll track them down at Libaras. I'll fight them. I'll fight the what are they called? The Court of Libaras. Okay, I'll fight the Court of Libaras army, take it over, and then I can go over to Lamia and fight these guys. They're probably going to raise another army at Rosetta when I beat this one. Matter of fact, I can check if there's an army there right now. No. I might be outside of the settlement, obviously, but yeah, we'll see. Anywho, I want it to last in terms of time as well. Like, I want for that pistol, if it was properly maintained, to be viable, functional, and good, like 30, 50, 70 years from now. And, you know, that costs. That usually, not always, but usually involves getting something a little bit more cutting edge and a little bit more modern. Paying a slightly higher price for it, but, you know.
Onward. We march.
Sort of seeing benefits from that as well.
My faith in you wins.
They're probably over here somewhere. But they won't be able to reach me this turn.
My servant faith.
They might, but I mean, hell, even if they do,
Ready.
it's not the end of the world. Doom Kings are a little bit ridiculous with their armies because they can recruit a lot and they don't pay for recruiting. So I want to get rid of them before I start picking a fight with the vampires. Besides, dwarves are like the kings of taking it slowly, which is why I kind of like them. It's like, you're not in a rush to do anything, you're not in a rush to go anywhere, just take your time. Take your time, easy does it, you know? Okay, can I recruit any type of hero? No. Unfortunate. Okay, let's take over Libaras. It should be very low level. Indeed it is.
Yes. Nigh. To battle.
There we go, and just auto-resolve this because it's a puny force. Not on my watch.
Glory for Karakazol.
Confederation formed. Confederation formed, Confederation formed. Okay. Or independence. Can handle matters at home without your aid for now. You have important work to do and cannot afford further distractions. I'm assuming this won't let me confederate them via the quest later. So, up to code. Unhappy populace, but I get 100 oath gold. Not really worth it. Happy populace, +1 in relationship with the dwarves, and I get the confederation. Or +10 weapon strength and armor for all armies for 10 turns, confederation, and -50 oath gold. Well, that's fairly simple. Now, why do we have no money? I get the feeling I know the answer to that. Yep. Gazador the Dragon Slayer has, you know, has assembled quite the force. Congratulations on doing that, but, how do I put this? No. I'm gonna get a Master Engineer, though. More research faction-wide isn't bad. I like Discipline, though, but I'm not gonna use... let's go with this, because I'm not going to use it in the army. It's a good hero to have in the army, but I'm not going to use it for that purpose. I need it as an agent. I need it as an agent pretty darn badly. Okay, and then we can get rid of this, because you don't build it in minor settlements, because you can't upgrade to level 5. So, get rid of that. That's 3,000 gold. That's plenty. We can put a, I don't know, like a money-making building there or something. And obviously Karakazul and Spite Rock are going to be fairly vulnerable while this is happening. Mind you, we're not at war with anyone in that general direction for now, so I'm sort of assuming it's gonna work out. Sort of. Hopefully. Hopefully, certainly we can always hope, eh? Military presence 20, that's where their army is. That's actually a good thing. We can use the underway to get to there-ish, and then we'll have them cut off. Army is still neutral to us. I think this is ideal. So anyways, in a very lengthy discussion, a very lengthy video, we've arrived at my conclusion and my entire point. That being, that's how I decided I'm gonna get a pistol and what I'm getting. I narrowed the choice down to like like I said, it will depend on what they have in the shop. A few months from now, they might import some more cool stuff for me to look at, but you know, whatever they find, I've narrowed it down sufficiently. Ah, really?
No for nonsense. Dwarves never tire. It is time.
And there I was thinking,
For the wisdom of Valea. March.
we can not lose this place and continue on our merry way. Unfortunate. I hope you don't go after Granite Massif, because that'd be a bit rude. There is big public order problems here that we need to address. So let's address them. Anyways, I think that'll do for this video and this episode. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Like, subscribe, try again. Like and subscribe. I think I've messed that outro up more times than not over the last like 7 or 8 videos. I need to like really practice it more or something. I don't know. Yeah, this is fine. I've expected this. What do you have? Acropolis Knights, Stalkers, and that's pretty much everything. The rest are just skeletons. Alright, that's going to be an easy battle as well. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Like, subscribe down below if you enjoyed the video and want to stay tuned with the rest of the content that I produce on the channel. Next time, I'm going to fight for Marak. We're going to retake it, thus pretty much eliminating the Court of Libaras as a threat forever. And, I mean, I say we're going to do that. We're not actually going to do that. Yeah, we're not actually going to do that because we can't make it there on time.
Walking bones. Repay every grudge.
Yeah, I guess I'll take a look at this next time. Like I said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.